everyone, it's Miss Brenner. I'm here to go over your week 16 agenda. I hope you're all doing well and staying happy and healthy. So for week 16, we are looking at our test for Brave New World. This is our final test for that novel. It's chapters 11 through 18, along with some questions about the short stories that we covered with the Dystopian unit. Once again, since this is an online course, you can do it in whatever order you want. You can start off with the test or you can end with the test. There is no direct order that you have to do this week as far as this particular assignment. Alrighty, next thing we're looking at is our literary lens notes. I divided them up and right now the YouTube videos are uploading. So when those are done, the video links will be in each folder. There is a video for gender and psychological lens along with the notes that you need to fill out, and then a video for new critical and classist lens along with the notes you need to fill out. So once again, once those videos are done, they'll be in those folders. Next is our Dystopian Society creative project. So last week you worked on steps 1 through 4, creating your dystopian society. This week the directions and rubric are online, along with a blank document for you to create your written assignment in. And then we are going to be starting a new novel called Dry. We're going to be moving on to an apocalyptic set of literature. So this would be what happened to the world prior to becoming a dystopia, typically. So we're going to be looking at Neil Shutterman's novel Dry, which is a science fiction apocalyptic situation where I kind of categorize apocalyptic as anything where our normal day lives become chaotic to the point that we can no longer function as a society. So it doesn't always mean that the entire world disappears. However, your immediate world pretty much stops functioning, which is what happens in the novel Dry. So it's going to be on a smaller scale than having a whole situation where the entire globe is impacted. However, it makes it a little bit more personal and a little bit more relatable. So we're going to be looking at that novel this week. We're going to be starting it off with pages 1 through 33 and then 34 through 53 with reading questions. I only have online copies for Dry as of this moment. So please let me know if you have any issues with reading it in this format. I can try and see if I can find you a copy at the library, but as of right now, this is all I have available. So this is a PDF copy of the entire book. You can search by page. You can open it up in a Google document, in a Word document, or in a PDF. And when you open it up in the Google document, you can use the Google add-on to have it read it to you if you prefer the audiobook version. Alrighty, so those are all of our assignments for this week. I really quickly want to read over the directions for you. So there are 3 different options for your dystopian creative project. Option 1 is that you're going to do like an application of publication. So this is a publishing company has recently shown interest in your writing and wants to read a cover letter in relation to your vision before sponsoring the production of your dystopian novel. So you're going to need to write a thesis-centered cover letter about your dystopian novel, which you outline in the steps prior. Craft a thesis statement and support the expectations within the thesis statement with direct reference to your revolutionary dystopian society. Your essay should contain a thesis statement and a minimum of 3 body paragraphs answering the questions listed below. Your essay should be a minimum of 2 pages, double-spaced, Times New Roman font, 12-point font. As far as the questions that I expect to be answered in this, it's pretty straightforward. How does your dystopian society appeal to a modern reader? What is unique about your dystopian society in comparison to the established genre? And what thematic motives exist with your dystopian writing that will hold the story together? So these thesis statements that I am providing as examples cannot be used to help you. They can be used to help you, but they shouldn't be your thesis statement. You should not copy and paste them into your project. I am not providing a thesis statement. You will need to come up with your own. So example 1, The crux of my dystopian novel revolves around the abuse of technology in a media-driven dystopian society. This is exemplified through the referenced scientific discoveries, the predicted merging of modern-day tech giants, and the dystopian controls used to maintain a subservient citizenization, supporting a theme of one's freedom to choose is greater than the guarantee of one's happiness. And then my second example, my dystopian novel focuses on the corruption within self-serving government systems inspired by historical connections to failed government systems of the past, the current political climate throughout the world, and the thematic understanding that with great power comes great responsibility. So option 2 is a tour. So this is going to be a little bit more on the creative side. So you're going to have a character or characters go on a tour of your dystopian society. Your tour should have a tour guide who is fully dedicated to the growth and development of your dystopian society. So this person should be in support of whatever system you have in place. This could be like an AI model, it could be a world controller, or just some kind of dedicated follower. Your tour should demonstrate the dystopian controls used to maintain happiness within the society and use language that grooms new members, like those on the tour, to conform to the society, such as hypnopedic proverbs and state mottos, just like we were seeing in Brave New World. Your essay should contain a thesis statement and a minimum of 3 body paragraphs that use creative transitions to entice the reader to conform to the dystopian society's beliefs. Your essay should be a minimum of 2 pages, double-spaced, Times New Roman font, 12-point font. So once again, I'm giving some example thesis statements. These are not for you to copy and paste, but just to get you the general idea of what I'm looking for. So on our tour, we will learn the beautiful inception of the new world and its place as the pinnacle of governance to open our minds to the truth and to commit to our great purpose in the new world. We will achieve all of this and more because our motto is accept, purify, and unify. So another example would be welcome to our colony within the civilized world. Today on our tour, we will be observing the Ministry of Truth, the methods by which the Ministry of Truth offers enlightenment to the colony, and how to report those who are misinformed so that they too can find their truth. As we enter the building, please repeat the colony's motto of to question is to wage war against the truth. So option 3 has to do with like a propaganda media broadcast. So once again, this is a more creative option. If you feel like you are already struggling with steps 1 through 4 and you aren't quite sure what you want to do, I would recommend going with option 1, as you can pull from steps 1 through 4 more heavily since you've already created them, and it may lead you, steps 1 through 4 may lead you a little bit easier. With options 2 and 3, you're going to have to take the information that you already started working on and really think about how you want to craft something on the more creative side. So option 3, once again, you're creating a third-person perspective of a media anchor and host recording the regularly broadcast propaganda mixed with an hour news report of events. The media anchor should draw in the viewer, which in this case is a reader, the attention by using a hook, which would be your thesis statement. That sets the tone of 3 main stories that will be coming to the audience live in the hour broadcast. These stories should reinforce the beliefs of the society either by supporting the actions of the governing force or by denouncing the actions of those that oppose the governing force. So a lot of times people want to just go out and write a story about how somebody fights the governing force. However, that doesn't really give the audience a view of how the governing force is in power. So if you really want to write a story about somebody fighting the power, this is your opportunity. However, it has to be from the perspective of the people that are in power and how they are probably not pleased that people are fighting back against them. So your essay should contain a thesis statement and a minimum of 3 body paragraphs that use creative transitions to mimic the authentic feeling of a news broadcast. Your essay should be a minimum of 2 pages, double-spaced, Times New Roman font, 12-point font. Once again, I'm going to give an example. So maybe it would go something like, "Good evening and welcome back to B&H Power Hour," says a well-dressed man in his mid-40s with an overly exaggerated smile. The man's booming voice adds, "I'm your host, Pete Bluster, and beside me is the dashing Mr. Halmer." Mr. Halmer shows off his pearly whites as well, like a wide grinning shark. "We have a show jam-packed with 3 breaking news stories for you tonight." Sure to shake the senses, turning to his partner, "Mr. B, I heard those hooligans are acting up at the docks again." With a laugh, Pete Bluster bursts out, "Don't give away too many spoilers, as we will be addressing the riots at the shipping docks, the election debate, and a newly established form of conditioning that is expected to be rolled out in all secondary schools by the end of next week. Stay tuned." So after you select which of the options you want to pursue, this is our rubric. So aside from the 10 points for parts 1 and 2 and the 10 points for parts 3 and 4, this is the rubric for the final project that we are working on, which is 32 points total. It's broken apart into 2 sections, this blue section and this orange section. The blue section is, each of these categories is 6 points each. So that's project directions, which is everything I just read you, making sure that you follow those directions. Use of dystopian qualities, which we have covered the dystopian qualities quite thoroughly, so that would be in steps 2. You decided what you wanted your dystopian society to be like between the 4 categories. And in step 4, you decided what forms of controls you were going to implement in order to keep your citizens behaving. Your thesis statement is a category in the 6-point area, and then your paragraph structure is in the 6-point area and broken apart based off of how well you fulfill that category. In the 4-point area, we have grammar and mechanics and MLA format. And that is our rubric. I'm not going to go through and read each little block because that would make these directions very, very long, and I'm sure that you can read it. Alrighty, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Please make sure that you are checking your grades online and that Schoology is matching up with home access and what you see. From my perspective, everything looks fine, but I want to make sure that as far as we are already past the halfway point, that I want to make sure you are aware of your grade and you know where you are at, both on Schoology and on home access. Home access only updates on Thursdays, so Schoology would be the most accurate on a daily basis. Along with that, make sure that you are logging your silent reading every day. You should be reading 30 minutes to yourself of something other than what we are covering in class. So anything of your choice, from the library, from audiobooks online, from news articles. Just make sure you record the author and title of whatever you are currently reading along with the date. Alrighty guys, I hope you have a wonderful week and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.